Alright, hello everybody and welcome on back. We're doing some musing. And actually, I need to start getting some resources here. So we're going to go mining today. We're going to get a bunch of iron. Because I want to build a railway. And we're going to need gold and all that good stuff. And I think we have a lot of rails, but yeah. I don't like killing the iron golems. Unless it's in a farm, then it's fine. But an iron golem farm is quite a tall order. Especially here, like, and you gotta like move the villagers in a way. Yeah, it's tough. So, anyways, let's find a place where we can drop all this. You know what? Oops. Um, it's gonna make some storage. Okay. Also, we can get rid of all these seeds. But yeah, so we were talking last time. How do we do these great things? You know, how do we replace things with other things? That's being intentionally vague, but like specifically with the communal app, like where you can just have people. I'll just drop all this here. Um, you can have people loan money to other people to help them out of their situations, or even just to make life easier. I mean, imagine how much of an economy booster that would be. If people were able to buy more, then more things would be sold, more cars, more houses, more. I do love that. That does look cool. In fact, oh, I'll show you real quick. I did a little building off camera. You might have seen it last episode, but started doing this. Oh, I might do some more building off camera. Like, I just want to kind of finish that idea, that thought, not leave it too hanging. But yeah, look at that. In fact, I gotta still figure that out. It looks fine from below, and it's almost done all the way. Like, that's only one row. This is 3 rows all the way until where it starts to thin out right there. You can even see it. It gets thinner. Oh, sorry. Right there. So, that dolphin, I thought that was a villager. Anyway, so let's go mining for some iron, and we'll talk about. So, law enforcement and corrections are all. They're in agreement. Like, whether they say it in a way or not. Like, at the end of the day, everybody wants to go home safe. Nobody wants to get killed. That's pretty easy to say. And to even elaborate that, nobody wants to have a lesser life, and nobody wants to make someone else's life lesser. However, if you're just following orders or that's your job, that's why it's really hard in corrections, especially, but, even um, law enforcement, because we were talking about this the other night. Like, when a cop pulls you over, they're not all excited about it either. They know that there could be some danger. You could be on some substances. You could be going through some things. I mean, you could have just broken up with your wife or girlfriend, or found them cheating, or had like some kind of like crazy life crisis moment, and you don't care. You're not thinking. You got adrenaline going, or whatever. There's anything could be happening. Or I mean, you could just be drunk and then like maybe have a gun or something. Like it could just be as simple as that. But dangerous is my point. So they're already going to be on edge a little bit. And then that doesn't help that you're going to be on edge because you're shaking and everything and you're nervous and like, oh, you might get busted for something. You might have something in the car. You might have been drinking. Are you over the limit? Like, how many beers did you have? Did you have shots? Hard liquor is very unpredictable and can get you drunk really quick without. And then they say like one shot is the equivalent of one can of beer or a bottle of beer. Or what if you're drinking 40s? Anyway, sorry, I'm just saying like people are going to go through that and then you're going to get pulled over. And then there's a chance that it could go bad. I forget what the point of all that was. Oh, humanity, humanizing. So dehumanizing is thinking anything other than that. Like if you get pulled over, and that's why, I mean, I will say I've been pulled over many times, and every single time was pleasant. I mean, sometimes I was in trouble, yeah. Not for DUI. I've never had one of those. Knock on. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Knock on. I don't drink anymore. Um, no. So, but because I mean, I treated the police officers with respect. Really shouldn't call them cops to their face unless you know them. I mean, I have some cop buddies that I can, and even then, I'd say, actually, I don't think we ever say like, "Hey, you're a cop," or "You're a police officer." Like, it's just kind of a weird thing to say to a friend. Like, it's more of like staring or gawking at someone, like, paparazzi even like, "Oh, you're a," or what is it? Scooter is like, "Oh, you're a vault hunter." Ah, that's like seeing a unicorn, and you get to kind of see what that's like. Oops. As we're trying to find iron, yes. Also, we're just going by the stairs, aren't we? And I forgot this piece. That's why I try to put the torches on the left side. Huh. It's funny. I was just running back to get a look to see. I don't think this is even a tunnel. I think this is still... Well, let's just go look. It runs parallel to the stairwell, is what I'm trying to say. It's like one of the main tunnels, and then I'll branch off of this. Yeah, see, here's the stairs. And I'll go back this way, so there's like 4 directions that I'll go, and then this one. Yeah. Anyways, so while we're doing this, so let's see. We already have 35. So that's good. We're going to build a roller coaster. We're going to have like these conditionals. Like, okay, so if we get this, and then I was going to say, like, do some kind of show, razzle dazzle for some videos. Make some shorts, too. The shorts are popular. I didn't think that last one was going to be all of that because it was such a long title. And it's like mixed. It's like 5 people like it, 5 people don't like it, or something like that, or 4 and 4. So I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. And then like things that I think will do really good, nah, not so much. But the point is, if people start thinking in this way, it's a scalable way of helping humanity, in ways that are self-sustaining, self-propagating, like expanding all of the endings. So, kind of like a virus that copies everyone from an address book and then sends itself to everyone there, and then it replicates over and over again. I chuckle, but that really was one of the big, computer. Not anymore. Like, I mean, even Facebook friends lists are becoming more private, and I think I gotta make mine private. But and you used to be able to stalk people so hard on Facebook. Now, it's harder for sure. But not that I do a lot of stalking, but I mean, we were all young, and like, it's a very fine borderline between creepy and trying to court someone. Like, like, in fact, I was just watching this thing the other day. It was like healthy relationship, unhealthy relationship. Just kind of comparing, like, to a point when it's cute, like, oh, okay. And even in Breaking Bad, the love story between Walt and Skyler, how they first met, Walt was stalking her at the place that she worked. I mean, she couldn't go anywhere. She was stuck, and that's how a lot of romances happen. I've had a lot of romances from working at, like, Subways and stuff, and restaurants, and, like, or I actually went and asked out. Basically, I consider her my first wife, even though we never got married. We had cat kids. Oh, no. Okay, this is kind of risky. We'll risk it for the biscuit. Oh, jeez. I can't see. But I see that there's iron. Right there. Oh, no. Okay. I thought that might like actually go up underwater, but that's probably an underwater. Yeah, that's not smart. We almost have a stack. So let's end it there. Fine. Um where was I even going with that? I forget. I got distracted by the iron. Well, anyways, oh yeah, Walter and Skylar. He was doing crossword puzzles because he noticed that she was doing crossword puzzles, and it seemed like a cute story, like still kind of like, ornery, but at the same time like pleasantly ornery, not like creepy ornery. Like he wasn't like walking behind her as she walked to her car, or it could be played off as like, oh no, that was innocent, like even though it was anything but. Now you throw alcohol into the mix and you have all sorts of crazy nonsense. Like I spent a lot of time down at the bars down in Old Town Fort Collins, and like you start seeing a lot of human behavior that way too. And you're playing games, and that Pikey wannabe, he used to do card tricks, and he would trick women into being like, oh wow, haha, and then they just get drunker and drunker, and I think he was even getting his hands on like roofling and stuff, and he got busted later. Good. I mean, I've done some things in my time, but I have never been okay with like that. In fact, I've had people ask me, "Do you know where to get that?" Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, no. What? And I was like, I should smack you for even thinking that. Like, so and for those who don't know, there are, well, what if there are kids watching this? They should know alcohol can make you do bad things. And this guy, he was drinking a lot of alcohol. Now that doesn't mean alcohol is evil. Like, sorry, there's places that are. I know Saudi Arabia is on the verge of legalizing alcohol, and like, this isn't helping their argument because yes, people should be free to celebrate with alcohol. It is fine in small amounts, but it's when things aren't going well in your life that, maybe it could be a little dangerous, a little more risky. And so, and I gotta do better about that when I'm commenting on the Pope stuff. Like, maybe not to make it sound so pointed, but like at the same time, I mean, the dude, he's really just an interpreter for God's word, which is really a bunch of letters that a bunch of old dudes wrote to each other back in the day, like after Jesus was already dead. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but the point is, it's no word of God. Like I don't see that. I think it's a great story. I think all the religious books are great stories, and I think if there is a God that is actually interacting with us, he or she or it would be okay. Yeah, this makes sense. Or maybe the worst, they might cluck their tongue and be like, you really shouldn't do this. But I mean, actually, like what that says, and especially the timeline too. Modern times call for modern solutions. Like we're no longer in the BC times, so like it's not very relevant or it's not as accurate as it should be. So there should be a more modernized version. In fact, there is. Like there's actually like LGBTQ churches now, like that are completely accepting of that. I mean, that's wild. Like it goes from like, blasphemer because again, there's no evil people out there. There's no demons or orcs or what have you, like fantasy creatures, because that's fantasy too. What it is, it's people that are misguided, even just a little bit. You know, they get caught up in arms, like of what they should be doing, and maybe they take things a little too literally. Maybe they take it a little too seriously. Like, burning in a pit of fire for eternity does seem like a pretty severe thing, but if you do like a tiny sin, is that going to happen? No. In fact, that's why they do the like say this many. I guess well it ranges, but the most part it's like you confess your sins to the priest or whatever, then you're good. And Dogma even makes fun of this one church that's like, and it's all fiction. You walk through these doors and you're absolved of all sin. And so then they abuse that and they kill a bunch of people and then yeah. So again, try not to do spoilers. Go check out the movie Dogma. It's awesome. And I'm not getting paid by anyone. I just like that stuff. I recommend things. A-Rye recommends. And if they pay me for it, cool. If not, cool. Um, because like the Ace Ventura, I'd still just use it to like funnel back into these side projects. Which, oh yeah, good headway on that. I still haven't reached out to any of my friends. I'm still waiting for my red key to come in, which was supposed to be here sometime in November, and it's now December. But it was like a backer situation, so it could just be taking a while. Um, and it's coming from all the way from England too. So like, oh jeez, okay, I'm gonna get lost. I know it. I know it. Okay, I gotta remember where I came from. So there's this, there, and not go too far. But we did come for iron and rails. Like this is awesome. Like we're just getting these rails. Man, there's so much. Okay, okay, looks like it's kind of now. I mean, worst case, I'll just go back to the surface. It's fine. But in fact, I'm pretty sure I've seen this from another area, like this mine shaft, and I was gonna come in there and try to get it all. Not all of it, mind you, and I'll probably end up back here at some point, but for now, let's grab what we can. So, sorry, very random. Let's get really focused into this, but I don't know. I'm very optimistic for the way of the future, but it's gonna take a lot of work, and like we gotta make a bunch of very big changes if we're gonna ever hope for anything else to change. So we can't just pull the rug out from under people, do away with their livelihoods. Like, people still need to be able to put food on the table, lights over for their families over their head. This is really cool. Mm. And see, that's what I thought it was supposed to turn into, cobblestone. But it's like stone, cobblestone, and then obsidian when you mix lava and water. So there's different conditions for it. Oh, man. It's probably got all sorts of stuff, but I feel like this might be where I saw. Because I've definitely seen this, or something like this, so it could just be another opening area. But that is cool. I haven't seen that before. There's chains. Oh, there's some iron. Ugh. And yeah, and cops are people too. That's kind of one of the other big things to drive home. Because I was talking to somebody that I was trying to do a project, paint a friend's house that was this big purple house down in Denver, and we have quite the crypt problem there. Like, not really a problem like one more than the other, but there's an environment that's able to foster gang life, gang activity, like gang membership, all that. And I don't want to badmouth anyone because a lot of it is just kids being kids and learning. Most of them are teenager to 30s, and then the older ones they either grow up or get in trouble or killed. Like, I mean, there's not a lot of. It's pretty dangerous. So, and how do we prevent that? Well, de-escalate the situations all around. Like, make it easier for everybody's families. Make their parents be better off. Make them be better off. A lot of alcohol. If we got rid of that, because there's so many stories of abuse and like domestic violence and beating each other and all this, and you know, we want to talk about how to fix problems. Again, alcohol, or just unchecked alcohol. See, there's another something to think about. Like, it's not just alcohol by itself doesn't cause these problems. Insane wealth inequality causes these problems. Having people that are starving and like dying in the world cause these problems. So, and that's why we constantly like I like to go back to talking about the Bible, even though I hate talking about the Bible because it's so uncomfortable for so many people because it doesn't seem to have all the answers. And people that go to church every week, it's like, wow, if you would have spent that time doing literally almost anything else, you could have built like a people a house by now. And like, I'm just kidding. Like that's kind of like how it seems. It's like most people can only spare so much of their time of their day. They're so busy trying to make money to live or to live how they think they should live. You see, it's not just survival, it's thriving. And it's the notion of, well, I should be thriving a lot more than this. I live in America, blah, blah, blah. Like, or. And then there's other places in the world where, like, they're lucky if they just didn't, this and that. So, and that's just, it goes long to understanding other human behavior and psychology and why people do the things they do, especially when it's something dangerous like violent death, murder, Holocaust, all of that. It's all connected. Like the German people were really suffering. They were in poverty. They were angry. A lot of Jewish people were able to amass a bunch of wealth invested in jewels and precious metals, things that were less volatile than paper money. And just because of that, and on average too, it wasn't just like only Jewish people did this. Everybody, it was human nature. Hold on. Oops. Is what my point is. Again, we need to be very careful not to dehumanize anybody and like make it seem like, Jewish people weren't some aliens or devils and German people weren't aliens or devils. Like these were all humans doing this stuff to each other, you know, eating each other basically. It's like cutthroat stuff. I mean, anytime war is involved, you get really gnarly stuff. And we're learning from that. Like we have a bunch of movies and media, and like, yeah, it's not real, but it's real enough. It's real enough to spark some thought and be like, you know what? I don't want us to get to that point, or I don't ever want that to happen again. Anybody who is actually in war. That's why I have such a high respect for military people, like, especially even just the Iraq War, the Middle East stuff. Like, as much as I hate that we did it, I really hate that people I know, got shot at, blown up. I do have a friend that he was driving a vehicle that got blown up twice, or he got blown up as a driver twice. I mean, he's okay. He had like a broken arm. He was fortunate. It was a pretty armored car, and but like the fact that he's driving around where bombs are going off, like that's pretty sketchy. And This is a dude that I went to school with. Like, we worked together on homework and tried to learn together and grow together. Like, now he's off killing people across the world. Like, and then how awkward is it when I'm like, living with people that I have a high respect for? It's like, I probably know somebody. Anyways, sorry. It's not good to dwell on stuff like that. But the point is nobody wants to do that. Nobody gets excited like, oh, I'm gonna go kill somebody. Like, are you kidding me? No. Scared to death, and then the PTSD resulting from that, like really messing with someone's head. And then that's assuming that they don't go off and do anything else stupid. Like a large percentage of our homeless population is former service members, former military, and all this. Like trying to cope with the horrors that they had to do or see, or or even just level with the fact like this is what we're doing. And granted, it's not all misguided. Like same with the Israel Gaza thing. Like I mean, I don't fault them for being angry and wanting to retaliate. Like I when I heard what happened to a bunch of women and children, and like that's human nature. Anybody's gonna get upset by that, and that's why they did it, because they want to make it like extreme, so extreme that now you got to finally listen. Now you got to treat us like, similar to how like having nuclear weapons. It's just so you have a bargaining chip, so you can now say like, oh, we have nukes. You got to listen to us. Look at that though. That is so cool. And we were just over there. I don't know how we got over here. I think we looped around somehow. That's awesome. And I wonder where I saw this from, because maybe it wasn't even this cavern, but I saw a cavern like this, or I saw a mine shaft. I don't know. But anyways, human nature and behavior, and then communicating that. And that's a big thing too, is understanding that we're all people. We're not less than human. We're not some demon or orc or creature. Um, people. That's why I'm so glad that I didn't work out with the military, because I don't want wouldn't want that on my conscience, like having killed somebody. That sounds terrible. And I will say, for the record, I've never killed anybody. That's ridiculous. Like, war or otherwise. Like, no. And technically, there is a war on drugs and a war on terror, which that just left it open-ended. I mean, that was the whole 9/11 thing, and then from that, there was just a blank check to just be at war with American citizens. Like, mostly people from other countries or people that had more of a Middle Eastern type heritage. Those were the targets. But like, oh, because they fit the profile. Like, even if the story ended up not being completely accurate or even true, like, just all that. What is that? Oh, that's other wood. I don't know. I don't say these things to really have anybody get all up in arms against anybody else. Like, the point is to de-escalate everything. Just take away all the violence, all of it, and figure out how do we solve the problems that lead to violence. Inequality, either real or perceived. And that's a big one too, I feel like, like people coming to America and anybody that's like, oh, I'm gonna go, this and that, and this and that, and then they get here. And in fact, I've talked to some people that have immigrated here from Mexico and Central and South America, and they said exactly that. They're like, I thought it was a lot different. Like, I thought everybody was rich here. Nah, we're a lot of poor people here too. Like, granted, my poor and your poor are way different if you're listening from, a lot of certain countries. So, and thanks to social media and even the TikTok, I might have to get into that. That's a little cringier, but thanks to these tools, we're starting to see that. We're starting to see, oh, they're not so different. They do the same stuff. Like, you know, they be who riding and rat scallions and all this. And, well, speaking of that, it's what one of my other buddies used to say. He had an opiate problem and he passed away. Um, Huffing pain, actually, which is, I mean, it's not surprising, but like it is. Like, I didn't think you could die from something like that, but inhalation, breathing, asphyxiation type problems, it's just dangerous. Like, and a lot of the opiate pandemic is from the OxyContin market from doctors and the Sackler family. Like, there's a whole Netflix documentary on it, and it's insane because it is one of the most addicting substances known to humans. See, known to man, which would be He-Man, not He-Man, but He-Man, them, and women. We're gonna keep doing it till it's a thing. Um, a very dangerous substance that will make people do things that they wouldn't normally do. Betray their family and friends, like those close to them, because they need to get access to it, and it's so expensive, you know, and almost impossible to get unless you go to a doctor and do it through the right channels. But then you can get it, and I don't know. It's all a mess, and it's in the name of You know, big pharma greed, basically, and that one family that, I don't know. And I wonder if they ever put out a bunch of money like invested in like rehab facilities or something, you know? Like even if they realized later, like, oh, we made a mistake, like this was not good. I mean, of course, then that might be giving them too much credit because, you know, thinking about the Kettlemans and or Better Call Saul, where they're just singing and, you know, all that. It's like, also, wait a minute. Wait, why do I have that? Anyways, I suppose we should head up north and we should see. Actually, you know what? Let's go build a. No, it's almost the end of the episode, but let's go build some of this track. Also, I want some of this blackstone stuff. I don't need that. So let's do that and that, that and that. This stuff makes some pretty nice looking bricks. And I don't have to refine it. Like the cobblestone, I would have to cook back into stone if I wanted to make. Ooh, I love how I just like miss this when I'm running, but then when I come back, it's like making a second pass and finding stuff that I missed. Ooh, and all right, never mind. We're gonna get rid of some of that. Actually, wait. Okay, we have multiple stacks of iron. This is good. Okay, we'll go start building the rail, but and yeah, like I said, I might do some of that off camera because I mean, even this, I basically said my piece. What I was thinking today is, you know, I went off on a lot of rants last night about how we need to stop treating people like dirt for their choices, like people, criminals, offenders, inmates, you know, people that all these labels we throw at people, and then we expect them to be rehabilitated or corrected, and then we put them back on society. It's not completely equal. I mean, and we are changing. And in fact, I'm going to be, oops, that's kind of scary. Um, you know, I'm actually working with Summit Stone. I'm going to be donating some laptops to them, and they're going to be, in turn, either taking the laptops and I'd like to suggest setting up like a computer lab for them. I mean, they have like facilities. In fact, we have this new detox facility. It was like Taft Hill and Trilby, I think, so way southwest Fort Collins. So, which we didn't have before. It was LCDC if you had to go dry out or sober up or whatever. Like you had to go to jail. But anyways, let's see. So while we're letting that cook, let's stay close by. Let's make some bricks. Let's make a I guess we have the white. We could do like black and white. I don't know. I feel like we do that a lot, but it's the nicest building and there's abundant material. So yeah, we'll build a dark tower. There you go. Stephen King's Dark Tower series is amazing, by the way. I read all the Gunslinger books. Oh. In fact, I didn't finish it though. I have a thing like that. Like I don't like to finish things. I like to do a lot of things, amazing things, and keep going. But then once it's done, it's like, then it's done. It's finished. You know. I don't know. I did that with my cyber security boot camp too. I actually had a migraine the day we were presenting projects, and and I unfortunately missed our graduation ceremony. Bummed out my partner for the project too. I kind of left him hanging, and I feel bad about that. So if you're listening, you know who you are. I'm sorry, man. In fact, I've told him sorry since that, so we're all good. But did a really cool project though. I hacked a password on camera twice. My buddy set up um, some firewall rules, blocked my IP and my MAC address, and then I spoofed my MAC address, which it's one thing to spoof an IP address, but then to spoof a MAC address, I'm just kidding. It's actually pretty easy too. It's easy to detect as well, especially the way that I did it, and I won't reveal my secrets, but if you want to learn cybersecurity, you got to sign the White Hat Manifesto, and you got to do it by the book. Anyways, that's it for me. We're probably at like what? Still got a minute. Let's take a look and see where we want to build this thing. Yep, I already know. The observatory. In fact, you know what we're gonna do? Yep. Sorry, I'm answering myself. We're gonna fix up. Come on. We'll make that for the. Yes. Then we're gonna need stairs. Yeah, and actually that's pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix up our melon patch area, but I don't want to get too far away from the furnaces so they can cook the iron. So I might go AFK for a bit, and then next episode we'll go build some railway, and then and then I'll show you that. So, in fact, I might even do that off camera too. I don't know, we'll see. But I'll show you the finished product because I'm thinking about building the observatory and making a ladder like way up, at least like, a ways, and then make that all of this black bricks and gotta go up there. So anyways, ta-ta for now. I'll see you in the next one.